Hey everyone, welcome back to Tech and Penguin. This is a part one of a two-part series. Um, of a zero standing access, locking my dev and test VLANs behind a single hardened jump box. The box is iceberg-gate, the same VM that I stick hardened in a previous video. Um, the end goal for this is to have access to these VLANs. But it's not going to be enabled. It's not going to exist until I grant it, and it's going to revoke itself on a timer. Um, all that was too much to do on one video, so that's why I decided to break it into two videos. So part one, which is this video, I will build the wall, and part two, I'm going to build the key, the access, which is going to be a bash script that's going to automate everything. So you'll see that on the second video. For today, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do static routes, VLAN interfaces on the gate, forwarding off, and then I'm going to prove the isolation with a live packet capture. Packets going in, nothing comes out. So let's get to it. So as you can see already, I'm going to be using, so this guy right here is iceberg-gate. This is going to be my jump box. And I'm going to be testing my server VM. As you can see, the IP on this guy, it's on the 192.168.1.101 IP. So it's just one subnet. And then if you look at my iceberg gate, it has a 192 subnet as well, but it also has two other interfaces. These two guys right here, they don't have an assigned IP right now or a gateway. They don't need one. So essentially, this interface is going to be for VLAN 10, and this interface is going to be for VLAN 20. So it's going to be for dev and testing. So the whole purpose is to keep both environments isolated from my management network. So that's basically what I'm trying to accomplish here. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I want to do is um, again. So let me show my routing table on my server. So I need to add a routing point to iceberg. So let's do that. In order to do that, I need to add a like I said, a routing point to iceberg gate for those two VLANs. So let's go ahead and type the commands for that. So let's do sudo network CLI connection modified ENS1 entity. That's my interface. Let's go to another line, and we want to add to IPv4 routes. IPv4 routes. I want to add a route to 10.0.10.0/24. So this is going to be my VLAN 10, obviously. And I want to do it via 192.168.1.200, which is the IP on this guy. This IP address. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm telling my server, which is on the 192.168.1.0 subnet, same as this guy over here, say, hey, anything you want to do or reach out to on the 10.0 subnet, route over to the .200 IP address, and that box will be able to route you to where you need to go. Okay, so .200. So that should be all I need. Let's do that. And then I need one also for .20. So let's show those routes again. Okay, so now I see I need to restart it. So let me do sudo network CLI connection up ENS192. So now they should show connection. Okay, so now if I do IP route, there we go. So there's the two routes that I added. So that's good to go. All right, so that's one step down. The next thing we want to do, so like I said, I just confirmed the routes that are in there. To make it cleaner, I could also do IP route grep 10.0, and that's just going to give me the 2 routes that I added. Okay, so now I got to go back to this guy, and I want to set up the interfaces via the MAC address. That's the best way of doing it. So let me capture those, so I know which interface is associated with which virtual NIC in vCenter. So to do that, I want to run IP-br link show ENS224. Okay, so that gives me this IP address. So I just want to confirm the IP address in here. So it's 1031. So now if I go over to vCenter and I look at iceberg-gate, go to actions, then go to edit settings. So these are the 3 interfaces that I have. So obviously the first one is for my management network, which is the 192.168.1.0. Then this one, the second one is for VLAN 10, the third one for VLAN 20. So again, I want to look at that that MAC address to see which one is which. So for VLAN 10 is a 1031. For VLAN 20 is the 6615. Okay. So now that I have that, I can go back over here. So what I need to do now is now let me verify those VLANs. So just did that. So I got the MAC addresses, and let me get the other one just to be sure. So I think that's 256. Right. Okay. So let me show what they're showing up as now. So let me do network CLI connection show. Okay. So as you can see, these are the 2 devices, the 2 interfaces. So I'm going to delete them so I can do it. I can do a clean setup for these interfaces. So to do that, let's run the sudo network CLI connection delete command and the interface ENS224. So let me double check that again. Sudo nmcli connection delete. Yep, that should do it. So I deleted that one, and now we're going to do 256. It's going to delete that one as well. So now I'm going to create the connections from scratch. Let's make them clean connection. So we're going to do sudo network CLI connection add type Ethernet interface name ENS224 connection name VLAN 10-dev IPv4 method manual IPv4 addresses. I'm going to give you the first IP address 10.0.10.1/24 IPv4 that never default yes. IPv6, we're going to disable that. Disable auto connect yes. Okay, so I know that's a long command. So basically what we're doing, we're adding a new connection interface, an Ethernet connection with interface name as ENS224, connection name VLAN 10-dev. So that's pretty self-explanatory. Then we're using the manual process to do a static IP for IPv4 address of 10.0.10.1 with a subnet 24. IPv4 that never default yes, basically is telling it, hey, this VM or this system is never going to use this IP address as the default IP. So basically it's always going to use the 192.168.1.200 IP address as the default. So let's hit enter. Auto connect. I always get a typo with auto connect. There we go. Okay, so that's done. So now we need to do the same thing for the second one for 256. Let's just do this. So this is going to be 20, right? And this is going to be VLAN 20, and this is going to be 56. So let me just double check one more time. Sudo nmcli connection, add type Ethernet, IF name ENS256, connection name VLAN 20 dash test, IPv4 method manual, IPv4 address 10.0.20.1/24. Okay, that all looks good. So let's go ahead and hit enter on that. So that should work. Invalid. Auto connect again. I keep forgetting. Auto connect. Okay, so that works. So let's take a look at it again. Let's do sudo network interface, network connection, CLI, connection up, VLAN 10/dev. So again, this is just bringing up the interfaces again. And then we want to do the same thing. Sudo nmcli, connection up, VLAN 20 test. Okay, so that's good. So we can confirm the new connections that we just created by running the ip-br addr command. And there we go. So we can see my ENS192, which is my 192.168.1.200 IP, which is my management network. Then now we can see under ENS224, the 10.1 subnet for dev, and under ENS256, I can see my that 20.1 subnet for test. Good. So all that is good. Right now, so if I ping, I should be able to ping 192.168.1.200 from this guy. Yep, that works. I should be able to ping the 10.1 IPs as well, I believe. Let me check that unless I did something wrong. 192, I'm sorry. So it's 10.0.10.1. That works. 20.1. That works. So you might say, hey, hold on, but aren't you trying to isolate these VMs? I'm sorry, these VLANs? Yes, but think about it. These IPs, these are just the gateways. Now, if I was to try right now to pick an IP address inside these two VLANs, per se 10.0.10.2, it should fail. But let me show you something else, because also I want to show you that IP forwarding is off. So let me run that command real quick. So if I show you, because that's the main thing. That's the main thing that needs to be off for this to work. So if I cat proc sys net IPv4, and I believe it's IP underscore forward. Yes, 0. Okay, so this is the main thing that I'm looking for. Right now, this is set to 0, which means it's disabled. On part 2, once I create the bash script, that's going to automate the process of switching this from 0 to 1. Once it's set to 1, then this VM becomes my actual jump box, where I'm going to be able to jump from my server routing through this guy onto an IP on any of these VLANs. So let me show you then. Let me come back to vCenter. I have a testing VM that we can look at. So this guy, IPA. So you can see this guy has an IP of 10.0.10.11, right? So even though I can ping the gateways from my server, I should not be able to ping that IP. Ping 10.0.10.11. And to show you something cool, let me run TCP dump so you can see what happens when I do that. You'll see the packets. So I'm going to do sudo TCP dump -ni ENS192 ICMP and host 10.0.10.11. So what this is doing is, hey, listen on interface 192 for any ping request, ICMP, for host 10.0.10.11, which is the one VM that I just showed you, which is this guy. You can see the IP was, it's right here. Yep, 10.0.10.11. So when I run this over here, sorry, let me run that again. TCP dump sudo not found. Hold on, give me 1 second. TCP dump. Okay, so I need to install, I don't have TCP dump installed, so I'm gonna do sudo dnf install TCP dump -y. That should go real quick. Shouldn't take long. Okay, so let's rerun that command. So it's listening, and let's try to use that ping again. So there we go. So you can see the requests, but there's nothing going on in here. So again, since IP forwarding is off, you'll see the ICMP request coming up in here, but it's not ever going to get to this IP address at .11. So again, this is a quick video. Just wanted to show you and set this up real quick. At least the networking part with the interfaces. Next video, I'm gonna be creating a bash script that's going to automate the process of enabling IP forwarding, either for one VLAN, VLAN 10 or VLAN 20, or both of them at the same time. It's also going to have a timer that's going to stop the connection or drop the connection after X amount of time, just to, as a security measure. Also, I'm going to add an option where you can disable the timer so you can have full access to it. So again, that's an upcoming video. I hope you guys like this one. I hope it was informative. I hope you guys learned something from this. Again, give a like, subscribe, and leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one.